This video was sponsored by Storyblocks.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
So SpaceX just sent a crew to the International Space Station in its Crew 1 mission. It was the first time ever that an official mission has been operated by a commercial provider, which means that the commercial age of spaceflight has officially begun. Space is now no longer only accessible through governmental organizations. I mean, technically, you or me could set up a company, develop a spaceship like SpaceX has, and just rent it out to paying astronauts. Or maybe even to some people that we don't consider astronauts today. In this video, I want to talk about an interesting idea: the age of space influencers. So by space influencers, which is the word I'm going to use throughout this video, I'm talking about social media stars, people that have some form of following on these social platforms. I think that pretty soon you're going to see more and more of these influencers that don't have a background in spaceflight paying for trips up to space and doing what they do here on Earth, but just, like a few hundred kilometers above the ground. And this idea isn't actually too out there for a few different reasons. First off, the attitude towards commercial activities in space is changing. In 2019, NASA made a historic move by opening up the ISS for commercial activities. And since then, they've already had the brand Doubletree by Hilton send up cookie dough to create the first cookies to be baked in space. And Estee Lauder is sending up a new skincare cream for the first photo and video shoot for a brand by NASA on the ISS. And there are already a bunch of companies that are taking advantage of this new attitude, and they're developing ways to take private citizens for trips to space on their own privately made vehicles. There's Blue Origin with its New Shepard, Virgin Galactic with Spaceship 2, Boeing with Starliner, and even SpaceX itself with both its Crew Dragon capsule and its incredible Starship. Now, Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic want to offer suborbital trips that will give customers a few minutes of floaty time at the edge of space, while SpaceX and Boeing are talking about offering rides to the International Space Station and also further up into orbit for a few trips around the planet. And SpaceX is even working towards sending private citizens around the moon on its Starship, initially as part of its Dear Moon project that will involve sending artists along for the ride. Now, there are no ticket prices yet for Blue Origin's trips, but a Virgin Galactic seat will cost around $250,000, whilst a SpaceX Crew Dragon will cost somewhere in the region of $55 million. So they're a little bit pricey. But what's incredible is that tickets are already being sold, and some of them are being sold for some pretty wild reasons. Like, it's now been officially announced that Tom Cruise and his director buddy Doug Liman have bought tickets with SpaceX for a trip to the ISS in 2021 in order to film at least part of the first action movie in space. And SpaceX is also potentially selling a trip to space for a reality TV show called Space Hero for sometime around 2023. But Virgin Galactic has already sold 600 tickets to celebrities including Justin Bieber, Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, and Katy Perry, just to name a few. Which, it's kind of expected that these sort of classic Hollywood-style celebrities would be jumping on board. But space as a topic is also just massive on social media right now. Like, we've seen actual astronauts become social media stars themselves, with Chris Hadfield going viral for his David Bowie cover, Scott Kelly gaining a massive audience on Instagram and Twitter, and Tim Peake gaining celebrity status in the UK. And then you've got people like Astronaut Abby on Instagram, who's sharing her journey towards becoming an astronaut in the future as part of the Mars generation. And also creators like Tim Dodd, also known as the Everyday Astronaut, racking up millions and millions of views from people that are just excited about the future of space travel. So what if these influencers could get a trip into space? It's pretty easy to imagine how good this would be for a social media star. I mean, they probably wouldn't be getting a $55 million ticket from SpaceX, but a $250,000 ticket from Virgin Galactic really doesn't seem like too much when you're talking about these bigger social media stars. Like, look at Mr. Beast, for example. He spent $1 million on scratch cards for one video, and he gives away hundreds of thousands of dollars, or, like private islands, all the time. Because he understands that the money that he's putting into those pieces of content is an investment that's going to bring more attention to his work and is eventually just going to pay for itself and pay for even bigger projects. Now imagine like a streamer on Twitch or on YouTube. They could do a stream of the launch, kind of like what you see everyday astronaut doing right now for hundreds of thousands of viewers. Except this would be streamed from inside the spacecraft, and maybe you'd have a crew on the ground as well, so you can just like jump between angles. Or imagine like a vlog series by Casey Neistat that documents the whole process. Like currently, you're going to need to do at least a little bit of training to take a ride from any of these providers, which is a process that vloggers like Casey could share with the world over multiple episodes that climax in the trip itself. Or he could even do one of his like most expensive aeroplane seats that gets loads of views, except this time it would be, you know, a rocket seat. And obviously I would be so keen to see any science influencers like Veritasium or Physics Girl taking a trip up and, you know, explaining what's going on from a scientific perspective. Or like John Hill could be the first skateboarder to do a 9000 up in space. I'd even be keen to see what food Instagrammers can do when Earth is the backdrop for their morning brew. Or see how makeup influencers do their morning routine in 0G. There are so many fun and exciting and maybe some ridiculous ideas for what influencers could do in space. And with the International Space Station having 600 megabit internet speeds, which is faster than most of us have here on Earth, it might even speed up their workflows. Now, okay, this might all sound a little bit crazy, maybe even a little bit stupid, but it's all part of an idea called space tourism. Space tourism is an idea that's been around for a really long time. I mean, even back in the 70s after the moon landings, Pan Am even created a waiting list for space tourism trips, and it reached over 90,000 names long. And there has actually already been several space tourists in the past that were all private citizens paying with their own cash for a ride on a Russian Soyuz rocket up to the ISS back in the early 2000s. But the idea never really caught on, so it was just abandoned pretty soon after. But now, as well as companies developing ways to take private citizens into space, there are also companies like Axiom Space and Bigelow Aerospace that are developing private space stations to either work with or independently from the International Space Station. And essentially, this is the start of space hotels. That is right, actual companies are investing real time and real money into making space hotels a reality. And all of this is being done by private companies, which is really what all I'm talking about in this episode is really about. I mean, I know a lot of you probably rolled your eyes when you heard me say the words influencers in space, but it's really just a sign for more exciting times. At first, it might only be the super rich that can afford these trips into space, but with more customers bringing more money to these private companies, it means that in the future, tickets could get cheaper. Doesn't mean they will, but it means that they can, either through like economies of scale or through advancements in technology that's maybe funded from that money. So more people will be able to afford these tickets in the future. And the same applies to companies, including those that are involved in important things like maybe launching satellites to monitor climate change. And NASA understands all of this. The amount that Estee Lauder is paying for their cosmetic photo shoot doesn't actually cover the full costs of it. So really, this is more of a publicity stunt by NASA to say, hey, we are open for business, so everybody start prepping your space marketing campaigns. They need to encourage this sort of thing, seeing as the ISS is going to be retired soon. So NASA is going to be a customer when they're staying in space. So they need the idea of commercial activities in space to be properly established already by the time they need to pay for it themselves. And just generally, with more access to space, it means that more money can just be pumped into the space industry and into space technology, which makes the whole idea of a space manufacturing industry seem way more within reach. And so it gives us more of a chance of becoming a truly spacefaring species, and we could be colonizing Mars as well, which is something we all want, right? And look, just honestly, I just really want to see a Tom Cruise Mission Impossible stunt filmed in space, because that would be dope. This is ground control. Still there? Oh. Yep. I'm here.
Alright, that is great news. Are you ready to complete the mission? Over.
The mission, right. Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, you are a go in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I am transmitting from
Space.
The video you've been watching was made possible by Storyblocks, which is my favourite place on the internet to get royalty-free stock footage for any project that I'm working on, which is great for when I'm in space, like I am right now, and I need amazing shots of planet Earth, like these. These are all from Storyblocks' extensive library, all of these incredible shots of planet Earth. Home. Home.
You there, Tom?
Yep, still here. Storybox's prices are also incredibly affordable, with different subscription plans to fit your needs, including their unlimited plan with access to their entire library and unlimited downloads. So make sure you check out Storyblocks at storyblocks.com/Tom Carroll.
And that's spelt with 2 R's and 2 L's, right?
That is correct, or they can just hit the link that is down below.
Alright, Tom, thank you very much. That's everything we need.
Okay, great, thanks everyone. Will you be coming to get me soon, yeah?
Okay, over and out now.